Usko Chronicles here at Okonjima. This afternoon we are out here on this nature reserve, Okonjima, and we are actually at the moment looking at an oryx which is lying down below the canopy of these bushes. A few kudus just passed by as well. But anyways, the oryx is still laying down just in the shade there. Now, these oryxes are actually animals that are very social, but sometimes you find males that are very territorial. So it could be a male that is in its own territory. Okay. Perhaps it's just with the rest of the herd, maybe behind the bushes here. But oryxes are actually grazers, okay, animals that would feed on the grass. And they adopt quite very well different habitats. All the colors on them actually play roles. Some of those, like the grayish, is actually to give it a good camouflage, as well as the white is there to help reflect the heat. On its legs, I call them that they got white socks on, which also helps, especially in arid areas where they really need to actually reflect the heat. You know, all that white color actually helps a lot on it. They also ruminants. The one sitting there right now, lying there, is actually chewing the cud. That is quite an advantage that these ruminants have. You know, instead of spending a lot of time out there feeding, like the non-ruminants, you can actually take a few minutes or hours of your time just chewing the cud, while the other guys that are non-ruminants are still, competing and continuing to look for food. It's actually our national animal, and for the reasons that we chose it is that it is actually a good survivor of many different habitats. That's why we have chosen it as our national animal, right? Their defensive mechanism are those horns. They are weapons. They do step off predators with those. They have been observed backing up into a bush, covering the behind, and then fighting off predators from the front using their horns. If one comes in another's territory, that's when fights take place, and it gets very vicious when they are fighting. Okay? That's the oryx for you. We also call it the Gemsbok, its common name. And it's a very beautiful antelope. In front of us here is actually something special. It's a young giraffe. It was lying down when we came here. We could only see the neck from a distance. Now it's up and walking back to the others. I think it's just about a few months old. Still looks quite young. Looks very tall though, and already big, but when they are born, they are roughly almost already 2 meters standing. Okay. When they born as well, the horns or the ossicones will be flat on the head. They then erect straight up and get fused to the skull. Okay. Interesting. There's also springboks just before the giraffes, and these springboks are also quite content. There's nothing much that they are doing. They're actually plains animals, and this is quite a good spot for them to hang out. It's open, they can see from a distance, and this afternoon they are just relaxing. Okay, you can see how the tails go, wiggle. This is a newspaper on its own right here on the ground. We're looking at tracks, and we have an ostrich track right here. An ostrich has only 2 toes, and that's what you see in its print when it's walking. The big toe is actually nice flat. It's a flat pad on the ground, which is a bit oval shaped, and then it has a very sharp claw here, which usually will also leave a print and sort of kick forward. This is also the way you can tell which direction the animal is going. So in this case, this ostrich is actually going the opposite direction. And then next to it is another smaller sort of oval-shaped flat pad as well, which is the smaller toe. This is actually what can tell you that this is an ostrich that has actually walked here. So there's a few other smaller tracks around. It's always interesting, to get off the vehicle and do a short walk and see what you find, especially tracks. There will always be lots. On a nature reserve like Okonjima, there will be a lot. This one is a combination between chacma baboons and the impalas. And these impalas we have here are mainly just females that I can see, unless another male maybe pops out from behind the bushes. But so far, all those in sight are actually females. Or there's a young male right here with just tiny horns. A baboon, not exactly chasing the impalas, but I think there was just a little squabble behind these bushes with one of his cousins, and yeah, it decided to go right through the impalas, and the impalas had to make way. They can actually mount up to 60 baboons, possibly up to 100 or more. They are very social, and they also make up a good number of leopard kills in some areas. Here at Okonjima Nature Reserve myself, I have seen a leopard with a baboon dragging it up a mountain. As you can hear there's a squabble of baboons. Something went wrong there, and it could be that one young one disrespected another, and all the males that usually associate with that certain mother of the young one that caused the problem, then sort of defend, and the whole argument breaks out. Okay? Chasing each other there. We'll just go behind this tree here. Maybe we'll get better view. Yeah, yeah. A little more to the left.
I'm just gonna try and pop through into the open. They seem like they might come out.
Yeah, okay, we're just going in between these bushes and trees, trying to get a good view and investigate what is going on there. Some are coming down, some are walking away. They're a little bit scattered now. There's another alarm call. So we don't know exactly what happened, but we could hear them going on, and a few of them were chasing each other. Okay. These baboons actually eat almost anything. You see, they can eat fruits, they can dig out scorpions, they can easily also eat young chicks like birds from the nest. If it finds a nest with chicks in it, a baboon can actually put its hand in and eat those chicks up. Also, if impalas give birth, a very young impala can easily be killed by a baboon as well, and will be consumed. This could happen possibly if there is not enough food around, but it is quite common. They have been seen and documented, killing young newborn impalas. Very good climbers. There's one that is just coming down the tree and just straight up with the vehicle. There's another behind, just above the impalas, 12 o'clock, that is actually going up the tree. And another interesting thing that I have seen from the mothers is that when the babies are young, they are carried in the belly. They clutch onto the belly from the bottom. And as it grows older, it sort of spins up and it comes on top. So it will be riding on top of the mother, sort of flat on, holding on to the back. And later, it actually sits on the back of the mother, sort of using the mother's tail as a backrest, because the tail goes up like this of a baboon. It sort of comes up a bit from the back, and it gives it quite a good resting point for a young one. So it's sort of like a jockey ride that they do. 3 positions that I have actually seen, the babies are carried by the baboons. been an amazing afternoon here at Okonjima Nature Reserve. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.